Guys and girls, did you know that it's probably the only profit you can make in Australia and not have to pay tax? Capital gains tax on property. We're going to give you the ins and outs very quickly this morning to make you a ninja. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Morning, good morning.
Josh Wapshott.
Mr. Novak. Big one this morning.
Oh,
Good old
this is
capital gains tax.
exciting.
Yeah.
There's tips and tricks in this that we're going to teach you that we see builders and people do with capital gains tax. Parallel building sometimes we see done this way, but it's very, very interesting. First of all, let's start from the top, Josh. What is a capital gain?
So a capital gain, guys, layman terms, let's just keep an easy figure of $100,000. So if I were to purchase something in 2020 for $100,000 and the next following year in 2021, I sold it for $150,000 or 200.
Yes.
Let's keep it easy 200. The capital gain there would be that $100,000. So that increase from your original purchase price to your
Yep.
new selling price. So you would be
Okay.
essentially taxed on that 100,000 proportion.
So just for the dummies, another example, you buy a unit for 800 grand and you sell it a year later for a year and a half later for $1 million. You have had a capital gain of 200,000. Now, in anyone's world in Australia, in New South Wales, the 200,000 would be called profit. The profit would attract tax, and the tax would probably be 46 cents in a dollar. It actually goes off your payroll tax or whatever tax you think. So the best way, actually, what I should also say with property, just to confuse people, the tax is a little bit different to just payroll tax. Only half of that gain is actually taxed. That's another benefit for property in Australia. Only half of that gain is taxed. Now, if it's a capital gains free property, zero tax. Can you tell us how that works?
Yeah, so essentially, if it's your primary or your primary residence which you are living in, there is an exemption on that capital gains tax, and essentially that means that there's multiple ways that this can happen. You could actually be living in it, or the other option is, as long as you have lived in it, you've actually got a 6-year time frame in order to still use or be able to have the ability to have the tax-free capital gains tax-free on that property if you were to sell it over that 6-year period. And if you were to lapse that 6-year period, you'd simply just move back into the property and move back out, and you reset your time frame on that 6 years. So it's a very big component of anyone's investment.
Okay, baby steps. And here's an example. We are dealing with a young couple that are getting divorced at the moment. They are in a house in Narrabeen, and they are asked. They've only been there for a year, but they've made some good money on the house. Now, when we told them this, they were like, "What did you just say?" So they were both going to marry away and go and sell, and they were going to rent a unit each, go their own ways. Once we actually said to them, did you know, because they asked about renting the house out, we said, did you know that if you rent this house out and you sell it in 5 years, 6 years, 3 years time, that you won't have to pay any capital gains tax, i.e. if the house is worth 2.2 now and in 6 years the house is worth 3 million, that 800,000 will not attract any capital gains tax. And then they just went, what did you just say?
Wow, yeah, massive
Yeah.
difference. And I'm sure everyone knows in this day today how hard it is to come across an extra 800,000 on the side. So
No tax. No
no
tax.
tax.
Now, if you don't believe us, just up above me here, you can QR code the capital gains tax rules and legislations from the New South Wales government in that QR code above. You can, or you can even screenshot it, whatever's easy. Take a photo. Now the big thing here is builders also do this. So it's a great way to store your profit without tax. So often you see builders, they don't just build their home because they love building. They make great money building for other people, but they improve and build their home because it's a tax-free haven for them. So when they sell that house down the track after the renovations are done, all of that profit goes straight into their back pocket. Now, the government does watch out for this. You know, you can't be a builder doing it every 3 months. You know, and you every so there's some legislation around it where they need you to live. They need you to have owned the asset for a 12-month period. So for instance, if you're a builder and you're in and out of there 11 months, they'll say but if you're making a sport of it, they'll say as in if you're doing it every 6 months or every year and a half, they'll say you should be paying tax. This is a business. This is not a home. But there are builders that every 2 or 3 years they are selling and making a tidy profit because that's their business. No capital gains tax.
Huge, huge. And the other factor is, guys, if it is an investment property and you do hold it over 12 months, there is a discount applied to that capital gains charge there as well. But when you just said an example like the people down at Narrabeen, Mark, an extra 800,000 in growth untaxed, if it were to be kept as an investment purely, you're looking at half that rate at 400,000. So we all know how difficult over 6 years to have a spare 400,000. So it's a massive, massive factor, and definitely a strategy investors should be having a tight hold over.
Well, it's a great thing for your kids. So with my kids, we moved them into something at the age of 18, and basically from that point, the 6 years after that, then they moved straight back in home, and the 6 years after that was capital gains free. Now you've got to have evidence that you were occupying and living there, and that was your principal place of residence, that it wasn't rented straight away. There's got to be evidence of that, but I do see families where they want to have that free hit. Everyone in Australia can have a home without as a principal place of residence. Now, this is what confuses people. You can rent the home out and still be capital gains free. People are like, "Are you serious? How does that work?" You can rent the home out. So, for instance, with our kids, they were there at the beginning when they bought it. For the 6 years after it's been rented, and there's been no capital gains tax. So, it's the only tax in Australia. It's the only profit in Australia where there's no tax. So take advantage of it, guys and girls. Anything else we missed on this, Josh?
Well, I think it's a big thing, like even relevant to myself. Like if you're a let's call it younger investor looking to get into the property market. I mean, if you look at some of the purchases on a mortgage, I know for myself, looking at something that I've just looked to purchase, and the mortgage I'm going to be paying. I mean, my idea in order to purchase more property is I'm not probably most likely not going to live in it. I'm probably going to be in there for 6 months and then go and rent it out, have that 6 year leniency period where I can sell it with no capital gains discount. And
Smart.
liquidity wise, I'm renting it out. I'm only making up the shortfall. That way I'm still able to build up capital in order to pick up my next purchase after that. So it's definitely, I think, a big thing, especially with all this 5% deposits, first home buyers, that sort of thing. It's definitely something those people should be considering,
Yes.
because this is the ability to sort of leapfrog yourself back into the market and making good gains and be able to really start building that portfolio. So huge.
Well, first home buyers can be investors. So you can buy with the intention of a first home buy, and after a period, you're an investor. And this is where you're almost getting to double dip. You're actually getting negative gearing you're getting negative gearing on the property because you've rented it out. You've taken the 5% deposit up front. You've taken the no stamp duty up front, and then you've taken the capital gains free benefit that's out there for you, and then you've gone back and lived at home, and you got the rent coming in, and then all those benefits. So it's working that those tax breaks for you, and understanding how it actually all works. Potentially, like our daughters had to move back in because the 6 years was up, and then move back out to restart to go to 12 years, so 6 plus 6. So it's very, very interesting that it's available out there. Not a lot of people talk about it, know about it, but guys, it's here today. You can QR code it. The only profit you can make in Australia without paying tax.
Massive, massive. Thanks for this morning, Mark. It's definitely a big thing. So, guys, use that QR code, and if you got any questions, feel free to call in.
Legend. Thanks, Mr. Wapshott.
Thanks,
Bye,
Mr.
everyone.
Novak. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.